Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Cruising your way on this episode of Off 90. We attend an event for local food producers and businesses. We learn a little about how fashions have changed for women. We take in a community concert. And we talk to a comedian about his artistic side. It's all just ahead, Off 90. Hi, I'm Barbara Keith. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Off 90. You never know when you need to have a fork in your back pocket. I went to the Feast event in Rochester, and boy, was I glad I had mine along. This annual event gives local craft food producers a chance to show off their wares to commercial buyers and the general public. It was a delicious exploration of the great things happening in local food.
Oh, it's such a beautiful day. You know, it's a great day to go to the Feast in Rochester.
Oh, yes, it sure is.
Why don't you get the cheese and load up the car?
Okay, I'll go load up the truck. I'll meet you there.
I'm here with Jan Joannides, who is from Renewing the Countryside, and she is one of the ringleaders who helped put this event together. So tell us where we are and what's going on.
Well, we are at the Mayo Civic Center, and we are launching the Feast Local Foods Marketplace. This is the second year we're doing this, and we're expecting thousands of people here tomorrow to visit with local food makers.
So what is this event all about?
Well, you know, so there were actually a bunch of people and organizations who were really interested and knew that we had like great farmers markets and that we had local producers and food makers, but that there wasn't really one place that was pulling it all together. So what we wanted to do was to really showcase this in a way that would get people excited about it. So it's all about, we're saying sip, sample, and shop. So people will get to sample the products. Almost everyone here is doing some sort of, yes, you brought your fork.
Ready. I'm ready. I was looking forward to that. I'm glad you mentioned that people get to have samples.
You do get to have samples, and it's amazing.
Thank you so much for putting on this event and bringing people together, the buyers, the vendors, the public, to bring food to our table. So thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you. We're so glad you're here.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what else there is to see and taste.
Hi. Well, tell me about Blue Fruit Farm.
Yeah, well, we have lots of different kinds of fruits. They're all blue, though, so blueberries, but then black currants, elderberry, aronia berry, plums, and then we're working with a restaurant in Minneapolis, the Birchwood Cafe, and doing some jams and juice. We have elderberry juice here, unsweetened elderberry juice, and then things like aronia plum jam, blend of plum and aronia berries.
Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even heard of aronia berries.
Oh, yeah, it's a very high antioxidant fruit, so much higher than blueberries. And they're native to North America, but most of them are grown like in Europe and Russia now. And so the variety we're growing was bred in Sweden, and it's called a Viking. So what could be better to grow in Minnesota than the Viking aronia? Well, but they're just packed with flavor. Would you like to try a sample?
I would love to try.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you.
Just taste that flavor.
Ooh.
Didn't that just jump out at you?
That's very good. Can I eat the cracker now?
Of course you can. They're wonderful crackers, gluten-free rice crackers. But we sell fruit and jelly, not crackers.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for stopping by today.
I'm still hungry. Let's see what else we can get. Hi.
Hi.
So what's this Good Food Award you have here?
Well, it's an award in San Francisco that's all about seasonality and local foods. and I'm a finalist.
Well, what do you have that's so good?
Well, I have a Bloody Pickle. It's everything you like about a Bloody Mary in a pickle without the vodka or Worcestershire sauce.
Wow.
Would you like to try it?
Yeah, of course I would.
Sure.
Thank you. Is that how you eat it?
Well, yeah, because you want to drink it in a Bloody Mary.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
has got some good flavor.
Yeah, got some zip and zing. Everything you like about a Bloody Mary, I'm telling you, girl.
But it's nice and crunchy.
Of course.
Ooh. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's go see what else we've got. Well, I'm here with Andrea Northup. She's the Farm to School Coordinator for Minneapolis Public Schools. And my first question is, what is a Farm to School Coordinator?
Well, it's really my job to make sure our kids get the best local food that we can possibly give them. And so we basically scour the region here and try and find high quality products, fruits, vegetables, get our kids the freshest food we can.
And so you are here as a buyer, so you're going to scout all these vendors and see if there's anything new you can bring to the kids in their menus?
Exactly. We serve about 25,000 lunches a day, and that's where we do the bulk of our local items. And so, you know, we're here looking for meats, dairy, baked goods, things like that that we can fit in and just increase our profile of local products.
So is there any education involved? Do the kids know what they're eating, or how do you inform them?
Yeah, well, it's hard to reach kids in a lunchroom where they only have a limited amount of time to eat. So we got to get creative. One of the ways we let them know that the food is local is through our Minnesota Thursdays program. So every first Thursday of the month we do an all locally sourced meal. And that's where we really go all out and highlight some great local products and really make a big hullabaloo about the fact that the entire plate is a local meal.
That's fantastic.
We do a lot of taste testing as well. That helps students learn about where their food is coming from. And we work with partners that do gardening projects and farm field trips and other deeper educational experiences around where their food comes from.
That's great to hear. Yeah. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I feel like I'm in the garden here.
Yes, and I've grown this whole garden inside my house.
In your house? How do you do that?
These are kits to grow your own microgreens at home.
And what kind of microgreens do you have here? I see radish, cabbage, arugula. Oh, fun.
There are 12 different kinds that we sell.
And can I try one?
You can. Yeah, this is an example of sunflower microgreens. So it's like a tiny sunflower plant.
A little baby sunflower. Well, I didn't know what a sunflower tastes like, but that seems like it's very good for me.
Yes, definitely. When they're in the microgreen state, then they're even more nutritious than after they're fully grown.
You know, that was so good. Can I have one more for the road?
Definitely.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see what else there is. It has been a fun day here at the Feast in Rochester. I've met a lot of great people, had a lot of really good food. But now I'm full. Time to go home, so we'll see you next time. As we know, fashion trends change regularly. Back in the 1800s, women, wealthy women at least, didn't just throw on jeans and a t-shirt and call it good. They had to dress up, partly to show off their husband's wealth. We visited an exhibit at the History Center of Olmsted County about the history of women's fashion.
Well, shameless display was essentially what it was all about. If you could afford to have the latest fashion and show your wife off, everyone that saw her recognized that you were a man of wealth. It's called conspicuous consumption. My name is Colleen Gow. I'm a textile and clothing historian.
I want a light yellow. This is the colors I was trying to get yesterday. This is a beautiful print. This is going to turn out real nice. None of what you see in my pictures is enhanced by digital processes. My name is Timothy G. Petrowski, and I am what I would call a period photographer.
I initially met Tim Petrowski at the Rochester Country Club, where he gave a presentation of his photographs using actual garments from a museum. When I first discussed the 19th century fashion with Tim, I mentioned a book that I had used in my studies of fashion history, written by Valerie Steele, and it's called Fashion and Eroticism. And Valerie did her PhD project at Harvard on the theory that the erotic zones, or the erogenous zones of clothing for women, switched. Sometimes it was the ankle, sometimes it was the bosom, sometimes it was the knee, sometimes it was the waist. And Tim was quite entranced or fascinated by that idea to cooperate with me and to collaborate with me to make a series of photographs of 19th century fashion.
The project is called The Changing Erotic Zones, 150 Years of Women's Gowns.
The exhibit essentially follows fashion from 1800 through to the 1940s.
Her idea was that we would illustrate how those zones travel and migrate over time, and how sort of drastically they go from one place to another. I'm there, I'm pretty there, and I even have my focus, so. The backdrops are always, they remain constant. So you have a straight line to compare it to, and then the lines on the floor coming out help to describe volume, so you get to see a little bit, especially if I put like a hoop skirt or something like that there. So this is actually the proto piece for the Changing Erotic Zones. And it has, you see the white and black background and the horizontal piece where the backdrops meet the floorboards.
One, I think, of the biggest examples is from the time of the 1850s, when the waist was considered the most erotic zone. Well, that tended to sweep backwards, and we had the skirt at the front being very, very narrow, and the emphasis then was on the buttocks. And it seems completely counterintuitive that it should be moved from front to back, but there it is.
As we all know, in the 20s, the line becomes sort of very, very boyish figure becomes vogue and central. And if you look at the periods before that, it's anything but. It's very hourglass. And so the difference between those two couldn't be more drastic.
By the end of the Second World War, when women had been doing a lot of men's work, and I put men's in quotation, they were working in factories, as you know, and in many different types of labor that they had to wear trousers to be comfortable and to be safe.
So what you see in the 1945 picture is a woman that, for me, looks like almost like an airline stewardess outfit.
The thing that is probably most important to learn is that indeed fashion has gradually advanced and has dropped away, hopefully, the ridiculous kinds of fashion that were found in the 19th century, because with the freedom of women to enter sports, to enter professions, to be educated just the same as men, to take part in business, to take part in all aspects of life, the freedom to choose clothing has also been right along with that other kinds of freedom. So I believe that today's fashion allows women to be whomever they decide to be.
For the last 24 years, the City of Rochester has been organizing summer concerts in Mayo Park alongside the Zumbro River. Riverside Concerts was a bold experiment that has paid off with years of great entertainment. We spent a delightful summer evening with the Weathered Heads and America, just soaking up the vibe. What a great way to wrap up your weekend.
We're going to play all original music for you tonight, if that's cool.
Riverside Concerts, which is the brand behind Down by the Riverside, Riverside Live, was started as a music department in 1936. In the early days, the citizens of Minnesota taxed themselves to provide music on public squares and streets. That was really the genesis of the music department. And so our park band has a history that goes to the 1890s. The brothers Mayo thought it would be important for the city to start a music department, in part to help them recruit and retain physicians. My name is Stephen Schmidt. I'm the general manager of the City of Rochester Music Department. If we're known as Rochester Civic Music to some or Riverside Concerts to others, it's all the City of Rochester Music Department. Down by the Riverside was born to be something that we would do in the summer, to offer a broad range of musical offerings.
Sometimes late when things are real and people share the gift of gab between themselves,
so that the public could enjoy music throughout the entire year.
take the bait and catch the perfect prize that waits among the shelves.
When the concert series began in 1992, it was very much an experiment, and we had no idea where it was going to go. In fact, we don't have a lot of photographs from the early years because who would have dreamed that it would become so successful? Since that time, we've offered a broad range of things, including world music and rock and roll and classical music and jazz. So now that we've evolved and we're bringing in some really big name headliners, we maintain our commitment to book local artists.
What's up, Rochester? How we feeling this evening? For those of you who don't know us, we are the Weathered Heads. We're from Winona, Minnesota. We've been waiting for this show for a long, long time.
Weathered Heads is another example of our commitment to serving regional artists with a tie to southeastern Minnesota, be it Winona, here in Austin, in Rochester, up in Cannon Falls, Red Wing. It really doesn't matter. If a member of a band can demonstrate that they got their start here in southeastern Minnesota, they are put into a pool that then we adjudicate.
Thank you all very, very much.
I like to think of Down by the Riverside as being one of those programs where we don't do every concert for everyone, but in every year, everyone should find at least one concert that might resonate with them. What's better than summer in Minnesota? Our portfolio at Riverside Concerts is as diverse as the Down by the Riverside concert series is. In addition to doing Down by the Riverside, we do the programming of the evening bands for Thursdays on 1st and 3rd. We have an indoor concert series called Riverside Live that takes place inside the Mayo Civic Center.
Now on the day that I turn 10, the years all come and go.
We have a commitment to do world music. We do residencies throughout the area, throughout the southeastern Minnesota area that focus on world music.
The years all come and go. A loaf of bread and a jar of jam. The years all come and go. They come and go. The years all come and go. They come
What people do during downtime matters. How do we recruit and retain the best and brightest to our businesses? Arts, music, all play a role in that. What's the joy in living? It's not necessarily working 8 to 5 at your job or 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. in your lab. There's much more to life. We offer the more to life. They understand the value of people being able to engage life and to live life to the fullest. And music is a key part of that. And so we add to the richness of the cultural tapestry that we're all weaving together here in southeastern Minnesota.
That's my partner, Dewey Bunnell.
Hey, all right, hello, folks. Great to be here. You're looking good out there. Nice to be in Rochester.
Trace Beaulieu is probably best known for his roles on the program Mystery Science Theater 3000, where he played a mad scientist, as well as lending his voice and puppeteering skills to Crow T. Robot. Behind the scenes, Trace is also an artist. We talked with Trace during a recent showing of his work at the Riverland Community College in Austin.
It's very personal, and this was all made without wanting to show it to people, and this is the first time in about 12 years that I have shown it. But thank you all for coming today. This is really great. I didn't expect such a big turnout, but I know it is raining and it's dry in here, so it was nice of you to come. I'm Trace Beaulieu. I'm an actor, writer, puppeteer, now labeled as artist. You may have seen me in Mystery Science Theater 3000 as a mad scientist, or maybe you did not see me in Mystery Science Theater as a puppeteer. I played Crow T. Robot. I guess I am an expressive person. I guess I have chosen a lot of different ways to get my thoughts across, either in joke form, or in the case of this gallery show, in visual form. The visual stuff I'm rather kind of close, kind of hold that in a very close, private way. I think this one is to scale. There's a person here to show you exactly how big that would actually be. And I think it's a reaction to presenting jokes, because those are very easy to critique, and it's either funny or it isn't funny. With art, it's a little more mysterious. You can look at it and go, gee, I don't get it, but it must be art. So I can get away with a lot more, I think. I collect a lot of material, found objects and toys and frames and just everything that comes through my life. A number of things I'll just take apart, you know. I love to explore taking apart typewriters or taking apart fans or motors or just everything. And at the end of the day, I have a big pile of material to work from. The pieces really tell me what they want to be. Not a lot of people see my art because most of the time it's in a box in my garage. I don't have an artist statement. I guess I should get one, but since this stuff is so personal to me, I've never really thought of how I would label it to present it. So I'm going to have to work on an artist statement, or maybe artist without a statement. That's my statement.
That's all for this episode. If you enjoy programs like Off 90, show your support by becoming a member of KSMQ Public Television. Keep local programming vibrant in southern Minnesota. Give us a call at 507-481-2095 or 1-800-658-2539, or sign up online at ksmq.org. Thanks for watching. Join us next time. Off 90.
Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.